To have with us this morning our special guest, Kenya Reinhardt and Jennifer Garcia is in the house.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good morning.
Treasure Coast for Kids.
Yes.
Wow, we're glad to have you ladies with us this
Thank you.
morning. So they want you to speak into the microphone
Okay.
so people can hear you
Gosh.
without demolishing the table.
Yeah, I know. We're breaking things. And
they're-
I've never been accused of not being loud enough.
They're a little
Okay.
rambunctious, just a little rambunctious this morning. I
It's
love
wild in here.
it. So, Kenya, tell us a little bit about yourself, and Jennifer, tell us about yourself, where you're from, and what brought you to Florida.
Well, I am a Floridian. I was
You
born and
are.
raised in Florida. I don't leave much. It's it's home to me. I was born down in Miami, raised in.
Wait a minute, is that Florida?
I know, guys. It's hard to believe. It's drifting. It's slowly like breaking away. I think there's
Right.
this like breakaway in the territory there. But I was actually raised down in Hollywood, and that's where I really got to be exposed to Four Kids down there. Four Kids has been around almost 25 years now, and they started down in Broward County. So I worked with them in the very beginning stages of the organization, and then I moved up here 16 years ago to the Treasure Coast. So now this feels like home, but I really do feel like I have a footprint all the way from Broward up here to the Treasure Coast. And it's just a great opportunity to be able to serve in all of those areas. So moved up here 16 years ago. My husband and I, we have 10 children. So that's
10?
a little fun fact.
10.
If you don't remember anything, you might remember that. I'm like,
You
hey, I
need
need to
two
find the
more
lady.
to make a dozen
I
because they say it's
know.
cheaper by
Or
the
a baker's dozen.
I was going to say 13 makes a baker's dozen.
Oh.
But yes, love my kids. We've loved living here in the Treasure Coast. We love the community. It's definitely a different culture than down in Broward County, and Jen can attest to that as well. Like, we lock arms here. We're very tight here. The community, the businesses, just like other organizations, we really do see that we're better together, serve together. We get to have fun together. Lots of different opportunities here to help grow and expand in the area. So we love the support, and we're so thankful that you invited us on so we could share.
Well, you don't sound or look like you're having any fun at all, Kenya.
Not at all. I'm an early riser. I've been up since like 6, so I'm ready. Let's go.
I think I've met my match.
Yeah.
Dear Lord. Well, see, you're probably doing better than I am, since I've been up since about 0400 this morning. So it's been a long morning for me already.
Get him his coffee.
All right. So Miss Jen, tell us a little bit about who you are, where you
Sure.
come from.
Oh, yeah. So I am not a Florida native. I am from New Jersey.
She's a Jersey
So
girl.
I
Another
try-
Jersey girl.
She's
Yeah.
a Jersey girl.
I try very hard to hide my accent in any type of interview and or speaking engagement, because it can get pretty bad at some point. So I'll do my best here. But I came down here in 2001 for college. I went to FAU, which is now about 5 times the size of when I went. We just had an event there, Four Kids Huddle, and the campus is pretty impressive at this point. I am also moving up here from Broward in the process. I have really fallen in love with Treasure Coast. It's a very big area, even though coming from Broward and Miami, more metropolitan areas, I am really impressed by the communities here. All 4 counties that I've gotten to experience so far have been so warm and welcoming, and just really getting to know the people and how we serve them. I volunteered with 4 Kids down south, fell in love with the mission and the ministry, and said, one day I pray that I'll be able to be a part of this full time. And here I've been in Treasure Coast now for 6 months. So
you're
really,
brand
I'm a
new.
newbie. Yeah, I'm a newbie, but I've been in Florida for a while. But so thank you for having us on, because any exposure is really, it's just so important for us to get the awareness and drive home the mission of 4 Kids. So thank you.
Well, we're glad to have you, because children, they're important to us. They're important to our community, and they, in fact, are tomorrow's leaders.
Absolutely.
So we've got to nurture them and take care of them and love them. And unfortunately, it's a shame to see what's going on out here, even in our own backyards. I think people don't realize, they turn a blind eye to it. They probably don't want to hear about it because it tears at their heartstrings. So tell us the passion and the vision.
So 4Kids is propelled by the vision to really meet the needs. The mission is to meet children's needs. So children who are in crisis, bring hope to them, bring hope to their families. And this vision, a home for every child. You know, we looked and saw how many children were being removed from their homes due to abuse, abandonment, and neglect, and how many of those children were not able to go to a loving family to help keep them stable and safe, give them that safety of family and that sense of belonging in the hardest time in their life. And so 4Kids really felt the need to get out there and advocate for these kids, to recruit foster families so that these children wouldn't have to go into group home and shelter settings. Children belong with families. And so for us, that hasn't changed. You know, we've grown and we've expanded, but we still are very much about bringing that hope to children in crisis. And we can do that by, you know, bringing in our community, bringing in our businesses, bringing in our churches and our leaders to come alongside these children and advocate for them and bring this hope to them, bring this home to them, and bring healing to them. So we all are about hope, homes, and healing.
Yeah, so that, you know, we were just reading in the newspaper, I think it was just yesterday or maybe the day before, with DFS, you know, Department of Children and Family Services, and still there's, you know, these children are being taken out of abusive situations,
right,
and taken into another home where they're not really being taken care of properly.
Sure, and that can happen. And, you know, a lot of times we do see the majority of what we're going to see about foster care is going to be the negative side of that. But I've been a part of 4Kids for 25 years, and we get to support after we recruit and we train those families. We come alongside and support them. So we stay connected. They have support workers. There's a constant connection to their family and their life, so that if there's any needs, if there's any concerns, that 4Kids is there right away to address them or to come alongside and help them, because they're welcoming children into their home that have experienced deep trauma. You know, what has happened to them has affected them, whether their brain, emotionally and physically, even intellectually. So we can come alongside as an organization and resource and give tools to these families, because, you know, these children come in with behaviors that parents don't understand. And so that's where we have that added component to come along and resource them, to train them. We have our own therapists on staff. So when parents are seeing behaviors and not understanding what's happening with that child, instead of getting frustrated and maybe not knowing how to handle that, they have a 4Kids support worker. They have a therapist that's available for them to help come alongside and help understand those behaviors.
So do you have some kind of a training curriculum for families to go through? Is there a training program?
Yeah, I can actually speak as someone who went through it. Before I came on staff, we were in the process of getting licensed. And I will say 4Kids, not having seen that side of things, does an in-depth training. They also do home studies. They make sure that they're not taking a child from one bad or vulnerable situation and putting them into another. I mean, they're so diligent about making sure that these kids are going into a loving home that is going to provide the best situation, the best atmosphere possible. So yeah, the training, and it doesn't take, you know, years, and the training you can do, there's a couple different ways to get licensed. I always say, if it's on your heart, at least sign up and do the training. They're called care classes. It's very affordable, and I personally think it was the best parenting class I've ever taken, the cheapest parenting class I've ever taken by far. But you learn so much on even how to handle your own, if you have biological kids in the home, how to handle your kids.
I think that's important.
Oh, absolutely. So I think it would never hurt to, if this is something you feel called to do, then look into the care classes, look into even an orientation. It's no strings attached, no obligation, but I am pretty confident that if you feel foster care is on your heart and you sign up for orientation, you'll be very impressed, and you'll realize that we're going to do everything we can to make sure you're equipped and those kids are going into the right home.
I love it. So what do you feel is your biggest need or challenge today?
Well, today we're seeing, we're coming, I'd like to say post COVID, but I think, it's just a different phase of, what we've been experiencing just globally with the pandemic. And a lot of us would, kind of reflect back on the year and think, well, it was challenging, or, there were frustrations, and, maybe we didn't like how things were happening. But for children, many of them were not safer at home. And while we were thinking these decisions that were being made that were safer at home, we really didn't take into consideration what that was doing for families that were maybe already on a bubble. Maybe they're already at risk, and now they're locked down and they're experiencing even more loss, maybe even grief, job loss. And, during that time at 4 Kids, we realized that, the numbers of removals of children coming into care actually went down. And so for many looking from the outside would say, well, that's really good. But for us, we knew it wasn't because it wasn't happening. It's because they weren't seen. So many of those children, that their voices were their teachers, their extended family, their neighbors, the people that they weren't able to see while we were all supposed to be safer at home. So once things started opening up and we started seeing this shift with the number of children coming into care rising, we realized that the reality was there, that children were not safer. And so the numbers started increasing. And with that increase came a shortage, right, of where are these children going? And so our backup plan is usually plan B is our group homes and shelters. And while they try to do the best they can, even they were having challenges. They're full to capacity, understaffed. And so they're actually, when children are coming in and there's not enough foster homes, that backup plan is now full. And so many of our children over the past couple of months, partnering with the Department of Children and Families and Communities Connected for Kids, there's this urgency because we now are seeing that children, when there's nowhere for them to go, they're either having to go out of our circuit, which is creating a whole new set of challenges and added trauma to these children. But now we're also seeing children under the age of 8 spending their days in offices with caseworkers, not with family. And, maybe spending several nights in different homes until they can find a home for them that's a little more permanent. But the reality is we saw 8 children under the age of 6 having to stay and be supervised with caseworkers in their offices. And that's not a work environment either for the caseworker, right? So while they're trying to do their work and they're trying to protect children and serve families, now they're watching children and babysitting. And so for me, the need right now is foster families who are willing to step in. We know it's not an easy call, but we're here to support them. We're a ministry first that does foster care. We're a ministry first. So, if you think, well, I couldn't do it because, ask questions, because there's a lot of misconceptions. I can't do it because I don't own my own home. I can't do it because I work. I can't do it because I'm single. So those are not true, right? So you don't have to own your own home. You can rent. You can work. There's resources in place to help your family with childcare and after school care, daycare. So there's a lot of, things that people think like, well, I couldn't do it because, but we probably, after we had a really good conversation, would realize that you really would be a good fit for a foster family.
That's fantastic. I can feel the passion. I can hear the passion. There's more questions to ask and more information that I would love for you to share our audience after we come back from our short break. You're listening to the Quality of Life radio show on WSTU 1450 AM, America's Heritage Station, and WPSL 1590. You can also catch us on Facebook Live. Look us up at Quality of Life radio show. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Quality of Life radio show, the world's hottest, spectacular radio show, and you are part of it. So thanks for joining us this morning. We have on our show with us this morning Kenya Reinhardt and Jennifer Garcia with Treasure Coast 4, the number 4 kids. While we were on break, we were kind of asking Kenya about what the group homes look like. How many group homes do you have on the Treasure Coast? How many children are typically in a group home? And how long are they in that home, Kenya, before they're given to a family?
Well, we're working really hard to partner with our local shelters and group homes to identify the children who are there, to identify their needs that maybe they're there because of that. And a lot of times children are in group homes because maybe they're trying to keep siblings together. It breaks our heart when we can't keep siblings together and then have to go to separate homes. But we do have about 80 children in our local group homes and shelters. We have seen that some of those group homes are now closing. Even, our local child welfare agency is recognizing that neighborhood homes are a little more effective, where you have families that choose to step into being house parents and giving that child a home environment, not a group setting. Because when you're in a group setting, you serve a group. So those children who are in group homes and shelters, they're not getting to participate in sporting activities or sleepovers with their friends or outings with their friends and, doing the things that normal kids can do. So they're really pushing to have these neighborhood homes, which is definitely a wonderful model. If a child is not able to go into a foster home, we would want them to be in that neighborhood home. Like I said, there's about 80 children waiting in those group homes and shelters. And we are working really hard to look at, like, what is the need? Siblings is the main need. And, for myself, I just even learned myself speaking to Communities Connected for Kids when we're, recruiting. They said, Kenya, we need to recruit families willing to take siblings. So immediately in my mind, I'm like, oh, that's like 4 or 5 kids probably. It's 2. So it really opened my eyes to something. I'm thinking, oh, I didn't even realize that. Like, yes, it's hard, to take in a child alone, 1, but like 2 could be hard. But like, we are here to support them. If they are willing to keep these siblings together, because for them, many of them, that's all that they have is that other sibling. That other sibling could even be their caregiver. So we don't want to add to that trauma. So 2, if there's families that I could take 2, I have 2 extra beds, or maybe you need a bunk bed. We'll find it. We'll get it. We'll find a business partner to get a bunk bed. We want to keep these kids together, and we want to keep them out of group homes and shelters. Human trafficking is a hot topic, right?
Sure is.
Homelessness, hot topic. Unplanned pregnancies, hot topic, and those that are entering, the criminal justice system, right? And so if we can get children out of group homes and shelters, it really reduces their risk becoming falling prey and victim to any one of those hot topics, because they have the love of family. They have people watching them.
So you have a lot of mouths to feed. How are you doing that?
Myself? Oh, wow.
No, for the group. So,
okay.
So
wow,
talk to us about the funding.
Your family food budget.
Yeah,
What's
60% of thank you. Yeah, I know. That's a whole nother show, right, guys?
Right.
60% of our budget is in-kind giving. We could not serve our families with the excellence that we do without the support of our grants and our business partners, our sponsorships for events, our defenders, and Jen's going to talk about that. We could not do that. One of the key things that we've added to 4Kids, like I said, was access to mental behavioral health services. And that's our therapists that work at 4Kids, their staff at 4Kids, and it's called EPIC. And it's the emotional, the physical, the intellectual, and the character of a child. And during COVID, we saw a rise in the number of children, just even in the community, not just our foster and adoptive homes, struggling with anxiety and depression, suicide on the rise. And so 4Kids said, we need to open up our therapeutic services to all children. So yes, we serve our children with our therapeutic services, but we also saw the need to step out in faith and say, we're going to serve all kids. No child should have to go without mental behavioral support and services. So that's why we're actively out there, saying, hey, could you get behind and help advance the mission of 4Kids so that we can redefine the future of these kids by supporting the families that said yes, by providing resources, by providing amazing support workers that check on them once a month, that find out what their needs are. They're not doing it alone. And then we can come in and we can also help them with that healing component by bringing in therapists to help them. the brain can heal. So if we can help a child heal from the trauma and send them, into a future where there's hope, that is really what we're about. And Jen can talk about that Defender program as well. But really, we are looking for those who say, you know what, maybe I can't foster, maybe I can do all of it. Maybe I can't foster, maybe I can volunteer, or maybe I can give of my time, my talent, and treasure. And so the spirit of generosity did not die with COVID. I will tell you that. And we are so thankful for the businesses who stepped up big time for us. And Jen can talk about the Defender program.
So Jen, what's the Defender program?
Sure. Well, first, let me thank Tom, because Tom and I sat down. My job is to work with the businesses, and we sat down just to discuss ways that Owen Insurance could get involved, and that's why we're here. But also, he said, "What can I do right now?" And it was so simple to say, "Well, if you're willing and able and generous enough, will you become a monthly Defender?" So, like many of the programs out there, it's a monthly give. We start ours at $30 a month. It's, for me, the easiest way to fundraise, right? Like, we have a big fundraiser coming up on November 12th, where we have to rent a venue, we have to pay for the food, we do all those things, because also that gets a lot of people in one room. It builds awareness. It's an experience. But for us, the more turnkey and more efficient we can be with our time, because we are a very small staff here. My goal is to have, now, because we've gotten 2 new Defenders.
Last night we got one.
All right.
was to have 365 new Defenders by this coming May, because May is National Foster Care Month. So it's a big platform for us. I know every month has about probably 3 or 4 different dedications for, but we're claiming May. May is our month. It's National Foster Care Month. So I would like to have 365 new Defenders by this May. And I just want to thank you, Tom, because you stepped up right away. He even sent me a screenshot of his registration, becoming a Defender.
I wasn't just kidding.
I'm sending the solar panel guy away, yeah, I'll call you back. I'll do it.
No.
Well, you count on my support too, so I'll make sure that
Thank
we'll be a Defender as well.
I mean, that's
It's
advocacy.
the heartbeat of 4 kids, the Defenders who really do give the spirit of generosity and allow us to do what we can do to help these kids.
Because we are really bursting at the seams with need, and there are positions that we need to fill, like another therapist.
Mm-hmm.
We're actively seeking that role. We have we're down a couple support workers. One we are in the process of hiring. Quite frankly, I think we need to probably add about 2 or 3 more positions to our office.
Ready.
And as
Then
you know, as business, then we would need a bigger office, which God will provide. We know that. But as you know, all that comes with a cost. As a business owner, you know that
That's right.
good talent it's not free. I mean, we have wonderful volunteers, but for us, we need people really committed to this cause that have the calling to say, no, I'm going to step into this full time.
And where is your office?
It's in Stewart.
Okay.
Is that considered downtown Stewart?
It's not.
It's not. Okay.
No.
I'm a newbie. Sorry. So it's right off of
But it's
Dixie
down the road
Highway.
from downtown Stewart.
Right,
We're like
okay.
50 north, east.
Dixie Highway.
Dixie Highway.
Dixie Highway. All right.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
so we love visitors. Anybody wants to come by. We just had a vision tour, so we invited the community to come over to the office and kind of just catch the vision and see where we want to grow and expand. So that's exciting, and
we're going to be having more of those.
We're going to be having more of those. We like company.
Yeah, we do. And I think what the best thing to do, like Kenya said, is if you can come for a night, we'll feed you and ask questions. So I think the next one is going to be set up a little like a panel. So you'll get to meet our EPIC therapist, you'll get to meet the foster support team. So, and then also Care Portal, which we won't talk about today because we don't have enough time. But these are all programs that if one doesn't speak to you, the other, I'm confident, will. So we want to be able to allow the community to ask those questions, because we realize there's a lot of places you could give your time, talent, and treasure.
So for the last 3 minutes we have, I want to ask you, what would be the one thing for our listening audience and those that are watching us here this morning? What's your personal message to them, and how do they reach you?
Oh, they can reach me. Oh, I'm happy to go
Leave me a
first.
minute
Yeah,
and a
I'll
half.
leave you a minute and a half. I can talk fast. They can reach me at 772-485-5012. You can call, you can text. I would really encourage our community to hop on our 4Kids Treasure Coast Facebook. You can see all of the amazing businesses and community partners that really lock arms, rally together to really bring the hope, home, and healings to the kids and the families that we serve. I also want everybody to know that we really are more than a foster care agency, and that's kind of what we're known for. But Jen talked about Care Portal. We are really about prevention, intervention, and healing, and we really think that we've been able to do that not by ourselves or alone, because of our community and our supporters. So that's my heart. We really want to see our future redefined. These kids having an opportunity to know that they matter. And sometimes people think, "Look, I'm scared. It's scary." And don't let that fear of a child leaving, deter you. But that fear of a child never knowing love drive you.
Absolutely. Very good.
I would just like to say I'm in fundraising, so I'm just going to be quite honest and
Just
frank
ask
here.
for it,
I'm
Jen.
going to
Ask
ask
for
for
it.
it. I need our
Empty your
businesses.
pocket.
We're relatively new, although we've been in the Treasure Coast now for
Almost 7 years.
almost 7 years. But we've been in existence for almost 25 years. And what I've seen in Broward, coming from Broward, and even in our Palm Beach office, is the businesses really coming alongside us. And it really just takes maybe like a handful. Hopefully it'll be more than that in the Treasure Coast, because we're serving 4 counties.
Mhm.
But I'm asking the businesses to learn more about 4Kids, and if this is what you can get behind, to do so soon, because we are really in crisis mode right now. And if you can help us break the cycle of foster care, you're not just changing that child's life, you're changing generations to follow. Because what we see is a lot of kids that are coming out of foster care and into our homes. We're reducing their chances of bringing their own child into foster care, because they're not on the streets, they're not in really vulnerable situations, and they're in loving homes that they get to know that no matter what you've been through, you will know the love of a family and the love of God, which is the most important. So I'm calling our businesses to look us up and
Invite
ask us
out.
questions.
We'll bring the party.
Yeah,
What's the
we'll
website?
feed you. We always feed
What's
people.
the website?
4kids.us, and then it's forward slash or
I'm
backslash.
going with www.4kids.
The number
That's the number
4.
KIDS Treasure Coast
Okay.
spelled out
There you go.
.org.
All right. So 4 www.4
The number 4.
kids treasurecoast.org.
There you go.
All right. So get on that website. Give, I like what you said earlier, the triple T. Give of your time,
talent, treasure.
talent, and if you don't have the time, you don't have any talent.
Open that pocketbook.
Give your treasure.
Become a
Coast.
forward
There's plenty of
defender.
treasure here.
There's
That's
plenty of treasure.
I hear the bad news, but there's good news.
There
The
is
bad
good
news is they're in a crisis mode
Mhm.
financially, right? And with staff, lack of staff. But the good news is the money that they need is in your pocket. It's in your checkbook. Open it up and make the difference of a child. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask you guys to stay here because we'll bring you on one more time before we close up shop. And Tom and I are going to talk a little bit this morning about what's going on out there. You need to know what the heck is going on out there. Before we do that, though, I have some more good news. I feel like I'm Santa Claus today. You know, I'm bringing gifts and good news. I don't sound like Santa. I'm starting to look like Santa, but I don't sound like Santa yet. Start growing my beard. So for those of you who are taking Social Security benefits, did you hear the good news?
6.6%
6% increase in your check in 2022. Now, the last time Social Security gave an increase of that magnitude was back in 1983. I was just getting my driver's license then, learning to drive up a pine tree. Didn't take very long to I figured out cars don't belong on a pine tree. They belong on a highway. But nonetheless, that's what happens when you drive a little fast on wet conditions at 16 years of age around a curve. You know, kids think they know everything, don't they?
I'm glad you made it, Gary.
I'm glad I made it too. That was very traumatic, actually. I won't forget that. So good news is that the average Social Security check is about $1,555 a month. So you take 6% on that, you're going to make an extra almost $100 in your paycheck. So that's great news and helps keep up with the COLA, the cost of living. So congratulations to those of you, not Tom and I yet, but for those of you that are enjoying your Social Security. Also, I want to let everybody know we always share what happened this day in history. So does anybody know what happened on October 19th back in 1790 something? I didn't put it on my paper. Sorry about that. It's just I told you I was up since
Can I
4
phone a
o'clock this
friend?
morning. So October 19th, the Americans defeat the British at Yorktown. So real quick, hopelessly trapped at Yorktown, Virginia, British general, you probably heard of him, Lord Cornwallis, surrenders 8,000 of his British troops and seamen to larger Franco-American force, effectively bringing an end to the American Revolution.
Go George Washington.
So yes, George. All right. Let's see what else. Oh yes, I have been advised it is time to take a little break. So you're listening to what, Tom? The world's
Quality of Life
finest
radio show, the most
finest.
phenomenal. And if you don't like it, it's because you are.
No, if they're not listening,
If you're not listening,
you're either dead or
sleeping.
Not
Alive.
All right. Hang tight. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Quality of Life radio show. I think that most of you, like Tom and I, and probably everybody in the studio here this morning, is sick and tired of being sick and tired, number one. And number two, sick and tired of listening to the same Medicare commercials, like the first one being the Hall of Famer, Joe Namath, hearing all those commercials.
Sorry, Jennifer. I know he's probably a fan.
J.J. Walker,
Oh.
Dynamite. Then you see all the Humana commercials, the Go Medicare commercials, the Joe Theismann commercials, the ARP commercials, United Healthcare. I mean, unbelievable. Plus, in just in the paper this morning and yesterday, I clipped one, 2, 3, 4, and 5
Wow.
ads in the paper. So, and they're all ads from a specific independent carrier. So obviously this gets confusing. It's ridiculous. And you know what to do? Throw it away.
Very dramatic.
There's only one thing that you need to do, and that is to call Owen Insurance Group at 772-210-1020, because we happen to represent all of these carriers and more. So the great thing about working with us, Tom, is what?
We are independent insurance brokers. And as you just said, we represent all of these carriers, and one shoe does not fit all. I know at one time in my life as an licensed health insurance agent, I did represent only one carrier. And Gary, even as an agent who really wanted to help people, it was frustrating for me because all I could offer is A, 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 or AAA. In other words, all the same company, maybe a few variations of a couple of different plans. But I tell you what, only a few percentage of people were to fit in that AA or AAA or AA. And so now I represent A, B, C, D, E, F, G,
All the way to Z.
all the way to Z. Come on and see me. So just give us a call.
I like it.
And I will represent you as a Medicare beneficiary turning 65 or need an annual review to see what plans were best for you for 2022. All of our agents at Owen Insurance Group would be able to represent you and really find the best plan for you, the best shoe that fits you.
I couldn't have said it any better, Tom. 350 plus agents that we have independent throughout the state of Florida and other states as well. But it's important that, listen, you may not want to work with Owen Insurance Group. Not sure why. Scratching my head a little bit about that one, but that's okay. We know that you're not always going to, everyone's not going to love us or like us. But you should at least listen to us. And, we're going to provide you unbiased information, right? Transparency. I mean, that's important, especially in this industry. So if you're going to another agent or you have another agent, ask some very poignant questions. Ask, number one, are you independent? What carriers do you represent? How long have you been licensed agent? How long have you been doing Medicare? How long do you belong to any other outside national groups and organizations like the National Association of Health Underwriters, we're NAFA, the National Association of Insurance and Financial Advisors. So it's important that you get the best representation. And quite frankly, I'm gonna be honest, and very direct. If you're working with an agent that represents only one carrier, I believe with all my heart that you're not getting the best representation you need. There's nothing wrong with that agent. That agent may not realize there are other opportunities of being out there and being a representative of all the carriers to give you a better opportunity. So I think if I go to a restaurant, I don't want to just see string beans. What do I want? String beans, string beans, or string beans, or string beans. And for dessert, more string beans. No, I want many options. So Tom, I think that we do a very good job, and we teach and we educate our agents across the country how to be great agents. And also it's important that to exemplify the process of being independent and unbiased, we put together a nonprofit organization called MedicareJourney.org. Look it up. Go to Medicare after you go to forkidstreasurecoast.org. Go to MedicareJourney.org. Did I get that right? Wow.
You did.
Blind
You're
squirrel gets a
Estimately
nut on a Tuesday. So check it out. Great information, videos. We're going to be, in fact, the gentleman here who's doing our videos here in our studio this morning is going to work with me. Yeah, Iggy. We're going to work together on putting some videos together, 5 quick segment videos about Medicare, original Medicare, Medicare Advantage versus Medicare Supplement, Part D. So you have a resource to go to instead of having to call the 1-800 number at a large call center where you have hundreds and hundreds of agents that don't really care about you or to care about your quality of life. All they care about is getting a few shekels in their pocket and going home. So quite different is us being professional and looking out for your best interest, Tom.
Absolutely. And Gary, one thing people can be assured of is this. Anytime they call us or visit us and they provide us information, we keep all their information locked away, private, protected. We follow HIPAA guidelines. There's guidelines to keep your information protected. We offer no cost or obligation consultations regarding the Medicare plans and options out there. And we deal with our clients and prospects in what's called a fiduciary manner. And that means we're looking out what's best for them, because we want to sleep at night, also legally, morally, ethically. We have to find the best plan for that individual, because one thing I always tell people is, if I were to recommend a plan that's not best for you and had some ulterior motive, sooner or later, and it's always going to be sooner, they're going to find out. Putting the square round peg in a square hole is just not going to work. So we do our best to really listen to you, find out your needs, wants, desires, verify your medications for the formulary, your doctors, and make sure they're in network. And we recommend what is best for you, and that's called being a fiduciary.
And also, I want to share some information about the choices you have. I mean, now we're in a Medicare open enrollment. You have it from the 15th of October through the 7th of December. And don't wait till the last day, because it happens quite frequently. Don't wait till December 7th to do something about your Medicare. But the two choices you have is either enrolling in a Medicare Advantage plan, or if you're on a Medicare Advantage plan now, you can go back to another MAPD, disenroll from that Medicare Advantage plan, go to an original Medicare, and then signing up for a standalone Part D. But let's talk about the two plans, because we understand that it's confusing. And Tom and I, we see this every day, and our agents and our advisors across the country, we see it all the time. We ask, what are you on? And Tom, what do you typically hear from the consumer?
I'm on some Medicare supplement.
I'm on that supplement plan.
They call everything a supplement.
So I asked, well, how much are you paying for that supplement plan? Oh, I'm paying nothing. Zero. Well, guess what? You're not on a supplement plan. So we're going to educate you the difference between a supplement in about 10 minutes that we have left. Supplement versus Medicare Advantage. And I've taken some information from the Center for Medicare Advisory and AARP as well. So, but let's talk about the two choices you have. Number one, and for those of you that are aging into Medicare, this is for you as well. So now that you're on Medicare, or you're aging into Medicare, the two choices you have, first of all, you got to do is get your Medicare card. And if you're right now, you're taking Social Security benefits, your Medicare card is going to come to you automatically. You don't need to do anything but sit there and have a cup of Joe and a donut. Half a donut. Give the other half to Tom or Kenya. Jennifer. What's your favorite donut?
I like the sprinkled ones.
Sprinkles.
Yeah.
What's my favorite donut?
You're a Boston cream, maybe.
Oh, tell you what, the Boston cream is one of my
Okay.
favorites,
Yeah.
but I was just going to say all of them.
All of them.
So once you have your Medicare A and B card, by the way, if you are not taking Social Security benefits, you're not receiving a check, then you're going to have to manually apply for Social Security, either calling them up, going online, or going to visit one of their facilities. Obviously, going online is going to be the easiest, and we can help you with that as well. So now that you're on Medicare, we're in the Medicare AEP annual enrollment period, and you're on a Medicare Advantage plan. And let's say that you want to go to a supplement. Maybe you're not happy with that Advantage plan, or maybe you want to try another Advantage plan. You can do that. Or you can go to an Advantage plan or a supplement plan once you disenroll. But what is the criteria, Tom? Can any person who's on Medicare Advantage plan now, they realize that, they're not on a supplement, they should have been on a supplement. That agent that sold them an Advantage plan didn't give them any options. They just said, here, sign here. This is going to give you everything for free. Like the commercials we see on TV, we'll give you everything, and we'll throw in a back massage every Tuesday. So what can they do if they're on a Medicare Advantage plan and they want to go to a supplement? Can they just do it automatically, Tom?
Well, you have to have a reason to be able to disenroll from that Medicare Advantage plan, and this is the open season to do that. So if you have been on that Medicare Advantage plan less than 12 months, you can switch to a Medicare supplement without any underwriting, without any health questions being asked, and that's what underwriting means. So, but if it's past that 12 months, you would have to qualify. So each carrier has anywhere from 10 to 15 medical questions in the past 2 years. Have you been diagnosed with this? Have you been diagnosed with this? And at the bottom, it says, if you say yes to any of these, your Medicare supplement plan is denied. And so that's the danger in not getting things right the first time. So many people just want to go the cheapest, easiest route. Oh, my uncle has this, my sister has this, Joe Namath said I need to do this, get this more benefits. But I tell
But
you,
it's free.
listen, there's no free lunch in life. And I tell you what, if medical issues come at you hard and heavy, unfortunately, it does many people. Early in, it seemed like when they say turn 65, I tell you what, I can't tell you how many people I've seen healthy as a horse, never go to the doctor, maybe because they've never been diagnosed, because they don't go to the doctor, but they get on the Medicare and it seems like, things start to happen. And getting that Medicare supplement gives you the freedom, gives you the ability to see any provider across the country, and gives you real peace of mind.
And we're going to speak to that, what you just mentioned about getting sick and having that problem, not being able to move to a supplement plan. But original Medicare, basically, when you get your Medicare card, you are now on original Medicare. It's a fee for service. Obviously, you don't want to just be on original Medicare, because original Medicare has a lot of gaps. Gaps to original Medicare Part A deductible is $1,484. The Part B deductible is $203, and then 20% co-insurance, uncapped. So you need to have a supplement plan or a Medigap plan. So a Medicare supplement is the same as a Medigap. So it's interchangeable, the terminology. So if we say Medicare supplement or we say Medigap, it's the same thing. So you can choose a Medigap plan, whether it's a Plan G, Plan N, Plan HDG. There are options for you, Plan N. So we will talk to you about those options and what would be the best fit for you. But again, as Tom mentioned earlier, if you're on an Advantage plan, you've been on it for a couple of years, now you're getting sick, you're going to have all these out-of-pocket expenses to pay. Maybe access to cares is a problem. And now you want to go to a supplement plan. Well, guess what? You waited too late. That's why we always say the decisions you make today can last a lifetime. It's super important to get it right the first time.
And Gary, I believe some of our listeners, even though we're providing excellent, great information, some of their heads are spinning.
Oh my God.
And that's the very reason why they need to give us a call, because we can help simplify that insurance planning, the Medicare reviews, so we can make it simplified. And so come see us. Give us a call, 772-210-1020.
And what most people love about original Medicare is the fact that there are no networks. They can go anywhere they want to go. They're in control. No limitations. They can go anywhere in the United States that accepts Medicare. And then you had a supplement plan and they're happy, especially if you get sick. So a Medicare Advantage plan, I mean, Tom, this in 2022, next year, Medicare Advantage is going to be 25 years old, quarter of a century already. It was signed into law by which president? Does anybody know? President Clinton, back in 1997. Back in the day, it was called Medicare Choice. Now it's called Medicare Advantage. And roughly 42% of Americans are today enrolled in some sort of a Medicare Advantage plan. Of course, you got two primary types of Medicare Advantage, Tom.
HMO and PPO.
Whoop, good job. And by the way, we may not know this. I'm sure most of you don't know this. It's a secret. It's a secret that they probably don't want us to tell.
Are you about to disclose the secret?
I'm gonna disclose it.
Gary, didn't we?
How much does a carrier get paid for you per month to be on a Medicare Advantage plan? It's a lot of money. $1,000 a month for one Medicare beneficiary. So you do the math, it's over $12K a year plus bonus. So of course you're going to see all these commercials geared to that, right? So again, make sure you go to an unbiased, independent agent. We're not saying they're bad. We're not saying they're good. We're not saying Medicare supplement's better than Medicare Advantage plan. We don't want to say that. But what we will say is that you're in the driver's seat, but you need to make sure that you make the right decisions before you get sick. We're out of time. So next week, we're going to talk about some of the chronic conditions and some of the situations. I'm going to give you the General Accountability Office of Inspector General, their report about Medicare beneficiaries that you are going to want to know and listen to. So I promised my guests that we would give them another few seconds to give their information and any final words from our lovely guests.
I'm just glad that you do insurance and I do kids, because I'm the one with the spinning head. But I do actually watch your show. So I do watch your show. I enjoy listening. I have a mom and a grandma that, it's been very helpful. So thank you for all the information you do share. And we look forward to meeting those who are watching and listening. Join the movement. We're ready for you. And again, we need to lock arms to bring hope to kids in our community.
Well, I love it. Locking arms, but no locking lips. All right. So let's make sure we just only lock the arms. So again, I want to appreciate those of you who tuned in this morning. Sorry for the snafu, the technical difficulties we had this morning, but we shall overcome, and we always do overcome. So next week, Tom, remind me, is it Veronica?
Yes.
Veronica Kolobab will be our guest on next week's show, and Tom and I will continue giving you unbiased information, Medicare Straight Talk. We'll also talk about some ACA plans as well, because the ACA open enrollment's coming soon. So again, thanks for joining us. Please share us with your friends, family, and neighbors. Don't keep us a secret, and stay safe, Treasure Coast. Keep happy, be healthy, and enjoy your quality of life.